Hexagram number 10. Conduct. On attempting to force progress. Treading upon the tail of the tiger. Becoming involved when we ought to remain innocent is to challenge fate or tread upon the tiger's tail. The tiger symbolizes fate. So long as we are sincere, conscientious, simple, and innocent in our conduct, the tiger does not bite. However, if we self-confidently and obstinately follow the wrong path, as we do when we try to create opportunities to influence rather than allowing them to evolve, we get bitten. We challenge fate when we step over the thin line to tell another what is wrong with them. We must be wary of supposing that because we have a more correct position, we have such rights. Difficult situations are caused by faulty attitudes and traditions that have accumulated over time. It is our fate to resolve these difficulties by correcting our mistakes, to try to change the situation by wrestling with it, by blindly resisting it, or by rejecting it, is to challenge fate as a blind, lame man. We must become resigned to slow, patient self-development, to reverse the trends that have become established, to try to overcome them all at once is foolhardy. The situation will improve only to the extent that we improve ourselves in an enduring manner. The superior man discriminates between high and low. This means that we accept the discipline and patience required to correct our poor relationships with others, rather than listen to the self-pitying, whining, impatient voices of our inferiors that look to external circumstances for guidelines to act. We need to concentrate on finding the egotisms and errors that have led to our difficulties. The difficulties in question are referred to elsewhere in the I Ching as lawsuits. Lawsuits are continuing inner conflicts with others that result from having adopted hard, vindictive, or impatient attitudes. Lawsuits always occur when we give people up as hopeless. We initiate an inner quarrel in which we say You don't exist. To which they reply, yes, I do, and I will prove it to you. Sometimes the argument is, you are hopeless, to which they reply, I will pay you back for your arrogant assessment of me. Lawsuits are evident in any actions that involve people's forcing us to be conscious of them. These lawsuits occur because we do not truly let people go. Instead, we supervise their behavior or attitudes. We seek to punish them for having trespassed on our values, injured our pride, or wounded our vanity. When we truly let people go, healing begins, and the lawsuit dies down. A creative relationship then becomes possible. When we allow ourselves to fall into negation and alienation, we leave the wagon behind. The wagon symbolizes our fate to rescue those to whom we are bound by inner ties. Negative attitudes resist that fate. If we ignore the higher essential meaning and purpose of life by rejecting our duty to discipline ourselves, we will not find true happiness. Fate's mandate that we can find happiness only by following the correct path cannot be circumvented. Changing line number 1. Simple conduct. Progress without blame. We make progress so long as we remain detached and free of selfish considerations. But we should be on guard against wanting to resign lost comforts. Forgive me. We should be on guard against wanting to regain lost comforts. Such wanting gives rise to restlessness and ambition to force progress or to conclude matters. We should remain content with slow progress and not to allow the desire to make progress or the desire to end the situation to influence our attitude. The correct attitude is always a humble acceptance of the situation as it is. We relinquish any anger, uneasiness, or disappointment we may feel about the length of time required to accomplish things. Changing line number 2. Treading a smooth, level course. Perseverance brings good fortune. We would stay free of inner conflicts, such as questioning, why is this my fate, and what should I do? We should avoid the danger of challenging fate by frontal assaults and by quarreling with the way things are. To circumspectly remain disengaged is to tread a smooth, level course. Changing line number 3. One-eyed, lame, the tiger bites the man. Misfortune. When we self-confidently think we can overcome fate by aggressive effort, we are sure to experience a rebuff. To plunge ahead is to meet with failure. Even though we are in the right, we should not assume a strong position. It is necessary to control blind ambition and not employ powerful means. Instead, we should rely on the beneficial action of nature to correct things. The more correct our position, the more modest we must become. Changing line number 4. He treads on the tail of the tiger. Caution and circumspection ultimately lead to good fortune. The dangerous enterprise is to think we must interfere to avert disaster or unwanted consequences. To interfere is to plunge ahead willfully. The encroachment of our ego is best combated by going forward with our studies, trusting that the further enlightenment will help us overcome the danger that comes of doubting the correct attitude. Changing line number 5. Resolute conduct. Perseverance with awareness of danger. This means to be neither too hard nor too soft. Resoluteness must become entangled with anger, feelings of retribution, or hardness, so that we lose our modesty. Danger is incurred when we self-righteously think what people ought to do. Such thinking is an interference in their spiritual space. Not only do they sense our feelings of superiority, our supervisory attitude prevents them from doing what is right of their own volition. This is because it is against a person's inner dignity to respond servilely to other people's demands. Our duty is to truly let people find their own way to doing what is right, while avoiding self-righteousness. We need to remain firm about what is correct and associate only with people's better selves. To pander to their desires and demands is to throw ourselves away. To overlook evil put before us is magnanimously to play God. While we may not tell people what they can or cannot do, it is our duty to make clear the limits of what we are willing or unwilling to join in doing. Until others are correct in relating to us, we should remain reserved in our inner attitude. Changing line number 6. Look to your conduct and weigh the favorable signs. When everything is fulfilled, supreme good fortune comes. When we have correctly persevered through the challenge of the time, we can be assured of good fortune. This line frequently refers to getting out of danger, especially the danger of doubt, ambition, restlessness, or immodesty. Dangers that result from worrying, wanting, or allowing ourselves to be directed by pride. Driven by these emotions, we recklessly strive to get out of our difficulties, only to make them worse and more dangerous to our inner balance. To regain inner balance, it is necessary to regain inner balance, it is necessary to come to a humble acceptance of the situation as it is. The acceptance needed is unconditional, like that required of Catherine in Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. Here, fate is the taming factor. When we accept that we must engage the helpful energies of the higher power, we are led out of our problems. This ends hexagram 10.